car maker Peugeot Citroën much awaited these results.
Yeah, and not good either. 2.3 billion euros in losses for Peugeot Citroën last year. Bad, although not as bad as the previous year where the company lost some 5 billion euros. It's also burning less cash than it had in previous years. Just over 400 million of its reserves were spent trying to keep the company afloat last year. That's only a sixth of the amount it had to spend back in 2012. The company's undergoing a massive restructuring plan that will eventually see 11,000 job losses at the company. It's also confirmed a new capital injection of 3 billion euros, badly needed. It has to be said this will involve an 800 million euro investment from the Chinese car maker Dongfeng. Dongfeng will take a 14% stake in the company, and that's going to be matched by an equal investment by the French government, who will also take a 14%. The deal will see the Peugeot family lose its controlling interest in the company for the first time in its 200-year history. They'll also now hold a 14% stake. But for Dongfeng, it's not their first venture into the European car market, as Oliver Farry now explains.
Relations haven't always been so warm between PSA and Dongfeng. The Chinese company, meaning East Wind in Mandarin, came into being in 1969 at the height of the Cultural Revolution by decree of Mao Zedong. Over 2 decades later, in the early 90s, Dongfeng signed an agreement with Peugeot Citroën, which started off well but soon stagnated. The reality was PSA was not too interested in the Chinese market. Relations were strained between the two companies. Dongfeng accused PSA of indifference and engaged with other partners such as Honda and most recently Renault and Volvo, with whom it embarked on joint ventures worth 825 million euros and 1.4 billion respectively. Today, the Wuhan-based company is an auto industry giant. In total, it produces 3 million vehicles per year. It employs 150,000 people and has global ambitions. Now PSA is belatedly investing and relations are improving.
The Chinese market is very important for PSA, and a lot of the technologies developed by the company interest Dongfeng. It's a win-win situation for both.
PSA intends opening up its research office to Dongfeng and sharing its own exclusive hybrid technology. But there's more in it than that for Dongfeng, allowing what is already the world's 9th biggest car builder to get a foothold in the global market.
So, Stephen, how have shares reacted to that news then?
Well, Peugeot Citroën's shares opening up in Paris up over about 4.4% a couple of minutes ago. Clearly, investors feeling pretty optimistic about the company's future. Also here in Paris, shares in the retailer Carrefour down 2% after Goldman Sachs changed its rating to sell. As you can see, the CAC 40 just touching into the red. One share in London we're watching for you as well. BAE Systems up almost 4% after reaching a deal on prices for the jets it's selling to Saudi Arabia. Now, over in Asia and Hong Kong, shares in Dongfeng closed down over 1% after that deal with PSA. Those, obviously, investors not too pleased with the idea. Elsewhere in Asia, it's been a reasonably lacklustre day on the markets. Investors watching China's central bank closely after it drained funds in the money market on Tuesday. The Nikkei in Tokyo slipping back after those strong gains we saw yesterday.
Now, we've got some big moves on the currency markets today as well.
Yeah, Russia's ruble has hit a record low against the euro in trading today. It's for the first time the euro has passed the 49 ruble mark. Poor economic data from Russia's central bank adding to the global flight from emerging markets we've seen in recent months. That's driving the ruble down.
Plenty of companies news around today. What's caught your eye, Stephen?
We'll start with the French bank Crédit Agricole, which has announced a return to profit of 2.5 billion euros last year. This follows a loss of 6.5 billion in 2012, linked to losses on the bank's investments in Greece. The lender had a particularly strong end to the year. Revenues rose by over 20% between October and December. As a result, Crédit Agricole is to pay its shareholders a dividend for the first time since 2010. Shares in Coca-Cola plunged 3.75% after the drink seller saw profits fall in the last 3 months of 2013. The company's US sales also fell by 1% in North America. It plans to cut costs by another $1 billion by 2016, money which will be reinvested in marketing. And Carlsberg's earnings have been helped by growing sales in Asia. The Danish brewing company earned 311 million euros before tax in the last 3 months of 2013, up 8%. Improved margins in Western Europe helped to combat sluggish sales in the Eastern continent.
Now, finally, a new survey on the best place to live if you are an expatriate worker. It is not Paris.
Bad news for you and me. I think we chose
It
quite
is.
badly. Vienna, in fact, came in at the top of the rankings by the business consultancy firm Mercer. Now, the data is used by multinational companies to decide how much of an allowance it's going to pay its employees. Vienna came out top of the list. European cities doing quite well in the rankings. Zurich in Switzerland was number 2, followed by Auckland in New Zealand, Munich, and then Vancouver. London or Paris didn't make it into the top 10, mostly because they're so expensive, we're told. That's why
And
why
cold.
perhaps they're not not the best places to live. Well,
Yeah.
Vienna's not the warmest place in the world either.
I've got a suggestion for the Austrian government.
Go on.
Austria Van Kath, or Austria 24. They
Exactly,
should be starting
yeah.
it. Then we can all just...
What wonderful people they've managed to attract.
We love Paris, really. Stephen, thanks a lot. Stephen with Business. We're going to have a look at what's happening in the international papers. Flo loves Paris as well, don't you?
You love Paris.
There you go. A lot of focus on Ukraine, of course.
That's right. That's really the main topic in the international press today. Let's start by looking at the Ukrainian press, and it's really interesting to see how different